This tutorial outlines why having a profile on LinkedIn is useful and also shows you how to develop a strong LinkedIn profile. So why is a LinkedIn profile useful? Well, firstly, it enables you to create a professional online presence, something which you may not currently have. Strong LinkedIn profiles also rank more highly in search results, both within LinkedIn and on general search engines such as Google, both of which are places recruiters may be searching. And finally, if you've got a fully completed profile on LinkedIn, this will create a more favourable first impression. Once you're logged on to LinkedIn, you can access your profile by clicking on either the link from the main toolbar here or from the summary section on the left. You can really easily see how complete LinkedIn deems your profile to be by looking at your dashboard section here. This section is only visible to you. What you're aiming for in terms of your profile completeness is all-star, as listed here. Now, LinkedIn will prompt you to complete sections as relevant on your profile, so all you really need to do is follow those prompts. However, I am going to also discuss a few points in a bit more detail, as these are often where students and graduates struggle. Key things to note in this first section, what I call your introductory section here, are firstly, having a profile photo. According to LinkedIn, profiles with photos are 14 times more likely to be viewed than those without. This doesn't need to be a professionally taken headshot, but should be professional looking, i.e. just you on a fairly neutral work-related background, and smile. It's really important to smile there. Secondly, what's called your headline, this section I've highlighted here. So this is a really brief overview of your professional interests and relevant experience, and if you're actively seeking opportunities at the moment, it's worth saying so here. Following this, your summary. So that's this section. As you'll see, if somebody else is looking at your profile, they only see a very brief amount of this summary. It's about 240 characters without having to click more. So these first 240 characters are key. But this whole section allows you to go into quite a bit more detail about your professional skills, experience and interests. Use keywords throughout this section, well, throughout your whole profile actually, they're really important. After that introductory section, your main profile is split into three main sections. This is background, skills and accomplishments. So I'll just go through each of these in turn. So the first section in your background section is your work experience. I'm just going to click through to a Leeds student to show you this, as it's more relevant to you probably than looking at mine. You should list a minimum of 2 positions here with a brief description of each. So you'll see this student has 2 positions. Now think really broadly about your experience. It can be anything, including part-time work, work experience, volunteering, positions of responsibility, for example in a club or society, work shadowing and so on. Throughout this section you want to highlight the skills developed, achievements and impact that you've made. Following your experience section is education. So if you're an undergraduate, you should include your current study and A-levels or equivalent as a minimum. If you're a postgraduate, include current study and undergraduate as a minimum. Even if you are a postgraduate, it's still worth including your A-levels or equivalent as well. And in relation to your education, you should include things like activities, societies, relevant modules, projects, grades you've received, as well as things like any awards, scholarships or prizes. Following this is your volunteer experience section, so obviously voluntary work can go in here. It's worth saying here, however, that if any voluntary experience you have is particularly relevant to the kind of thing you're interested in, you can list this in your main experience section as well, as I've done here. So see my position with Rally, I've listed there, and it's also in my volunteer experience section. Next are your skills, endorsements and recommendations. It's really worth thinking about what skills you have and listing as many of these as possible on your profile. Recruiters will search by things like this. So that it might be general, transferable skills or more specific technical or specialist skills or knowledge that you might be gaining in your degree, for example. When thinking about skills, it's useful to think about what sorts of words or skills might recruiters for the roles you're interested in be searching for, and trying to add as many of these to your profile that you have as possible. Relating to skills or endorsements, that's essentially meaning that people you're connected to can verify that you possess that skill. So you'll see that I have some here, and I've got a lot more skills listed on my profile there as well. Following this is recommendations. These are basically written recommendations, and these are a lot more highly valued by recruiters than the endorsements. So I prioritise getting these over the endorsements. You should aim for a minimum of 2 or 3 perhaps. And these should ideally be from previous employers or supervisors. You can request these through LinkedIn following the prompts. It will ask you which of your connections you want to and take you through step by step. But as with when you're asking for references, I would suggest contacting that person offline first to check that they're happy with it. then you can go through the process on LinkedIn, and once they've written it, you have the opportunity to review and approve that before publishing it. The final thing to talk about under this is what's called your accomplishments section, and really that's a way of kind of pulling together a whole load of other things. If you haven't actually got anything in here already, you won't see this accomplishments on your profile, but what you can do is just add it by clicking the Add New Profile section from the right of your profile. Accomplishments, you'll be able to see there the full options you have for what kind of things you can list, and then simply clicking the plus. It's really worth exploring that section and adding as much as you feel is relevant. In summary then, remember to fully complete your profile using all the prompts. Add a profile photo, headline and summary. Your experience section should include a minimum of 2 positions with brief descriptions. Your education section should highlight relevant modules, activities and awards, list skills, get endorsements and written recommendations, and add accomplishments to really make the most of your profile. Learn more about LinkedIn by viewing the other tutorials on our YouTube channel, the LinkedIn Students website, or by attending one of our LinkedIn labs that take place during term time, details of which can be found on mycareer.leeds.ac.uk. Finally, a reminder that we're here to help you with any careers-related inquiry, either during or after your time at Leeds, so please do not hesitate to get in touch.